is just about arrived. Training camp begins next week. Let's get your thoughts on some of the stories to watch. For the first time since the 75-76 season, there will not be a new coach on the job around the NBA. That's remarkable. Who is the returning coach you're interested in watching this year?
Coach Thibodeau, just his style, and I love him, the way he had Chicago playing when they were making that run, and I thought that team fit. But I just think now, Matt, the question mark for me is how can Tibbs change? Where, obviously the different type of players, different style, and the players he have, he's very rough on players on both ends, defense and offense, very controlling. And when you look at this young team, and not even young, just look at this team, their style, I think they need to play faster.
I agree.
I think that because you have Karl Anthony Towns, can run. Wiggins, who I think is best in the open court. Jimmy Butler in the open court. Who wants to play in the half court? Most people play in the half court because you can't run. I think they can run. So I want to see if he can adapt. And Jeff Teague is much better as a point guard in an open court.
Also might mitigate their defensive inefficiencies, yes, which have been pretty stark. I know Jimmy Butler's a better defender, but overall that's probably not a great defensive team.
And your makeup is you have a defensive-minded coach, and I started to look at their roster, like you said, like there's not a lot of guys that you would say even above average that's defending. And obviously Jimmy Butler coming over there and Taj, those guys can defend. Now it's up to Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns to get better.
All right, how about the front office to watch?
All summer we've talked about Doc Rivers and the Clippers, Matt, and how he's been demoted and taken away his president or general manager job, and it's Lawrence Frank. But I look at that and says, him and Lawrence Frank are two guys that's close. I kind of look at the Hawks situation with Travis Schlenk and also Budenholzer. Schlenk. You got to get a better last name, but Schlenk. Schlenk.
We'll work on that.
We're going to work on that. I look at those two guys. They don't have a relationship, so I'm looking forward to this season, that front office and Coach Bud.
Interesting. We'll see how that plays out. Schlenk coming over from
Schlenk, I like how you said
Schlenk coming over from the Golden State Warriors. The team to watch for you?
Denver Nuggets. I mean, the one team I'm just looking forward to, I think they can take that next step. I mean, watching the Joker, Jokic, how he played last year, because you have a guy that can play on the block, a guy who can play at the high post, a guy who can knock down shots and can draw a double team. Then you add a Millsap who played extremely well off of Al Horford, off of Dwight Howard, who was an all-star in the Eastern Conference. Not sure he will be an all-star in the West. And then all the young guys they have, Jamal Murray, Gary Harris. Only question I have is who's playing the point guard position. But other than that, I think this roster is built to do something special as far as making the playoffs this year.
A lot of forwards in that rotation. In fact, so many that maybe they could address the point guard position with a move down the line.
Couple moves. Yes.
Bunch of guys who can play at the 4 and 5 spots on that team. All right, the player to watch for you?
Klay Thompson. And the reason why is here's a guy that you looked at as the second best player on the Warriors at one time. And, everything going to a high level. Scoring the basketball, going through him. I think the next question for me, man, a lot of analysts and all of us who watch basketball was, can he work on his dribbling ability and be a guy that can be, you put the ball in his hands, facilitate and make plays? I don't even think he has to do that now. I think his role right now, yes, his numbers will be down, but I think he's an unbelievable defensive player. He's buying into that, and I think he's happy, even with this role of not getting as many shots, not being the second option, kind of the third, sometimes fourth option with this team. I think he's going to be fine. People are saying Klay's going to leave because he's not getting enough shots.
Yeah.
My opinion, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And despite that perception, he had a career-high scoring year last year.
He doesn't need a lot of dribbles.
No, he definitely does not. 88 seconds of touch time for that 60-point game for Klay Thompson. All right, early start to the season, October 17th this year. What will the shorter training camps mean for teams around the league?
For me, Matt, I guess I'm old school. I just think you need more time than that. I mean, I understand this. Obviously, you want to take the wear and tear. I just think, we're talking about you're going to have 3 weeks, including training camp and preseason, to get ready for the seasons. And I just think teams that can get together earlier in the offseason and teams that's been together, they have a big time advantage over teams that has a lot of new players, like the Clippers, and the list goes on with the teams that have 4 or 5 new guys.
Really? Players have been arguing forever they don't need that much time.
I just totally disagree.
Would you have said this as a player?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I don't say you have to go 2 days hard, extremely
right.
hard, but I just think you need more time going over plays, especially a situation where if somebody gets hurt in training camp, you don't have that much time.
Well, there are no new coaches, so everybody should
no
know
new coaches,
the system,
so same playbook, right?
Media Day's coming up. There's a shorter media day on Friday for the Warriors and Timberwolves. They are China-bound, getting an early start to the season. We'll recap that at 10 Eastern time on Friday. Monday, the rest of the NBA will have its media day, and we will have coverage from 1 to 5 Eastern time and a recap show later on at 9.